We're going to talk about Azure Key Vault in this video. So Azure Key Vault is a SaaS service, which is software as a service from Azure. This service allows us to store and retrieve three categories of sensitive information. The first one is secrets. So this could be things like your password and anything similar to the password. And the second one is keys. So this is nothing but a place to store your cryptographic keys. For example, any keys that you use for encryption and decryption can be stored here. And the third category is called certificates. So this is where you'll be storing your cryptographic certificates. For example, if you are trying to access a third-party service using some certificate, then you can store those certificates in this category. So there are two types of containers in Azure Key Vault for storing these information. The first one is called vaults, and the second one is called managed HSM pool. HSM means hardware security module. This is nothing but a hardware device which is managed by Azure where these informations are stored. So rather than storing them in a computer, we'll be storing them in a special device. They are designed to protect these kind of information. So that is what hardware security module means. And Microsoft maintains a pool of hardware security modules, and we'll be using those modules to store these information when we choose managed HSM pool as a category for your key vault. And the second option is just vaults. When you are choosing vaults as a container type, then it will be stored in a computer or in a hard disk, but it will be stored very securely. Within this vaults container type, we can store both normal keys as well as the keys that are backed by this hardware security module. But within managed HSM pools, you can only store the keys that are backed by hardware security modules. You cannot store software-based keys. And the Key Vault comes with two pricing tiers. The first one is standard and the second one is premium. And if you want to use managed HSM pools, you have to go for the premium pricing tier. Managed HSM pool is not available in the standard pricing tier. And in terms of the authorization, as it is with many Azure services, it supports both Azure RBAC and also Azure Key Vault access policies. But when you are using Azure Key Vault access policy, you can only control the access to the data within the Azure Key Vault. You cannot control the access to the Key Vault itself using this Azure Key Vault access policy. For example, if you want to allow someone to manage the Key Vault, you cannot do that using the Key Vault access policy. You have to use Azure RBAC for that. So Azure RBAC is superior than Key Vault access policy because with Azure RBAC, you can control both access to the data within the Key Vault and also access to manage the Key Vault itself. So you can control both of them using Azure RBAC. And if you create Key Vault now, it always comes with soft delete enabled. You cannot disable it anymore. So when you create a Key Vault, it will be soft delete enabled. But if you have created a Key Vault in the past, it may not have soft delete enabled. But any Key Vault that you create in recent times will have soft delete enabled, which means if you delete your Key Vault, it will stay in a soft deleted state for the configured retention period. For example, this could be up to 90 days. So if you have configured retention period as 90 days, then if you delete your Key Vault or any secrets, keys or certificates within that Key Vault, those deleted values will stay in the soft deleted state for 90 days. This is basically to avoid a scenario where you have deleted something accidentally and you want to roll it back now. So that is why we have soft delete enabled, and also the information we keep in the Key Vault or sensitive information, you may or may not have copy of those information. So if you accidentally delete them, then you'll be in trouble. So that is why we have the soft delete enabled by default. And if you have deleted anything accidentally, you'll be able to go back and restore that value as long as we are within this retention period. Okay. And there is something called purge protection. When purge protection is enabled, once a key or Key Vault itself is in the soft deleted state, then you cannot delete it permanently from its soft deleted state until the retention period is over. So for example, if the retention period is say 90 days, and if you have deleted a key, for example, then it goes to the soft deleted state. And you can actually purge this soft deleted key to delete it permanently within this 90 days. But if you have purge protection enabled, you cannot purge the soft deleted key before the retention period is over. Okay, so basically Once purge protection is enabled, you cannot permanently delete it until the retention period is over. Okay, so that is what purge protection is. Now let's go to Azure portal and see some of these. Okay, I am here in the Azure portal now, and I have a resource group called temp, and within this resource group I'm going to create a new key vault. And I'm going to name this key vault temp codebot KV. And as you can see here, the pricing tier has two options. The first one is standard, and we also have premium. Only with premium you'll be able to use the hardware security modules for storing your sensitive information. I'm going to leave it as standard for now because I'm not going to use HSO modules. And as you can see here, the soft delete option is enabled by default and you cannot change it. And the default retention period is 90 days, and this is the maximum retention period as well. So the retention period can range from 7 to 90. You cannot have anything more than 90, or you cannot have anything less than 7, for example. So if I put 6 here, you can see that it shows the error saying that the value must be between 7 and 90. So I'm going to change this to 7. And the next option is purge protection. You can see that purge protection is disabled by default. This means once a key or key vault itself is soft deleted, I can go and purge that even when I'm within the retention period. Okay, that's what this means. But if I have enabled purge protection, then I cannot purge the soft deleted keys or key vault itself until the retention period is over. At the end of the retention period, the soft deleted key vault or keys will be automatically purged. I don't need to purge it. But once purge protection is enabled, you cannot manually purge it when you are still within the retention period. So that's what that means. So I'm going to go ahead and create this now. So the key vault is created now. And in here within the objects, you can see that we have three categories: keys, secrets, and certificates. But you can see that I get this message saying that you're not authorized to view these contents. This is because key vault is a little bit different. By default, you will not have any access to the data plane of key vault, which means you will not be able to read or write to any of these categories within key vault unless you are a member of certain roles which allows you to do that. Okay, now I have created this, and I am a global administrator in the subscription, which means by default I'll be the owner for this key vault. Even though I am a owner, I won't have access to any of the data actions. Okay, so I'll have access to manage the key vault as a whole, but I won't have access to any of the data within this key vault. And I'm going to go ahead and add myself into a role that allows me to read and write to this key vault. So I'm going to add a role assignment, and I'm going to choose key vault administrator in the list of roles. This allows me to read and write to the key vault. And I'm going to pick myself as a member. Once this role is assigned, if I go back to my object, I won't see that unauthorized message anymore. So now, let's say for example, I want to add some secrets. I want to store some connection strings or password in secret. So I can go here and I can click this generate or import, and the name I'm going to say something like connection string protection or something like that. And the secret, I'm just going to put some value for secret. This is for the demonstration purpose. So I'm going to put something here. And this content type is optional, and we can optionally set the activation and expiration date as well. This allows us to enable or disable some value based on time. For example, if I want to make some value effective only at a certain time, then I can do that. And also if I want to expire this particular value, I can also do that. But I'm not going to do any of them here. And this is enabled by default. I can add 0 or more tags, but I'm not going to add any tags either. So now I'm going to say create. Now this secret is created and its name is connection string prod, and its value is whatever value I have set when I have created it. So if you are in the portal and if you have enough permissions, you'll be able to see the value of these secrets. So you just need to go into this and select this particular version, and in here you can either copy it without revealing the value, or you can click on this show secret value. This will show you the value. Okay, I'm going to close that, And if I go back, I can do the same with keys and certificates, but I don't have any example keys and certificates that I can upload here. But the concept is very similar to how secrets work. Now let's say, for example, I want to delete this key. To delete this key, I go into this key and I can click this delete. It is going to show me a message that once I delete this will go to the soft deleted state. When I delete, it's no longer appearing in my list of secrets and it is not accessible to any of my applications, but it's not permanently deleted. I can go to this manage deleted secrets and you can see here that this value is listed here. I can either restore this by clicking recover, or I can purge this. When I purge, it will be permanently deleted, and when I click recover, it will be restored back to its previous state. Purging is possible because I have not enabled purge protection. If I have enabled purge protection, then this cannot be manually purged. I need to wait for the retention period to be over, and in this case that will be the 14th of January, which is 7 days from now, and on 14th of January it will be automatically purged. Okay, the same thing is applicable for the entire key vault as well. So if I go ahead and delete this entire key vault, so I am here within this temp resource group, I'm going to delete this key vault. So I'm going to select this and delete the key vault. So now the key vault is deleted. But if I go to the key vault section of my subscription, you see here that there is no key vault available for me to use. But if I go to manage deleted vaults and choose my subscription, you can see that the deleted key vault is available here. And again, I can choose to recover this or purge this. Because I have not enabled purge protection, I can manually purge this. If I have enabled purge protection, then until 14th of January, I cannot manually purge this, and on 14th of January, it will be automatically purged. Okay, so that is how this works. I hope this is useful. Thank you.